why did I start painting? Well, first of all, at this point, I guess I've been painting for, let's see, I guess I've been painting for around 3.5 years. I could be wrong. I could very well be doing mental math incorrectly in my head, but it was the same year my father passed away, and in fact, that is partially the reason why I started painting. It wasn't like I was, I don't know, I just needed an outlet, not for my emotions necessarily. Tara will tell you I have no issue crying about loss or anything else like that, but I don't know, somehow, some way, the loss of my dad pushed me, inspired me to try something new, something different. And I was watching YouTube videos, and randomly, for whatever reason, I don't know why, a clip came up. A video came up of basically how to paint tonalism, impressionist, easy. I watched the video, a guy named Stuart Davies, and oh my goodness, the painting he produced was amazing, and he did it in like an hour. And he did it with the cheapest brushes he could find, and with just a few paint colors. And he just produced something that was brilliant right then and right there. And I thought, you know, first of all, I know this guy has years and years of experience painting, and even talks about how he would take this simple painting that is very good to me, and he'd basically use that as a base to build upon. But by itself, he said it was very, I don't know, very enjoyable, and I agreed with him. It was enjoyable to see what I thought was a perfectly fine finished painting accomplished in like an hour. And so I thought, I could do that. I can do that. Now, let me pause there and go back in time. Whenever I was somewhere in between, I guess, 10 and 12 years old, I took painting classes on Wednesday nights for about 3 months, and I really liked it. Really liked it. And for whatever reason, the kid me could not focus long enough to stay with something, whether it was piano lessons, violin lessons, whether it was baseball when I was a kid, or karate, or whatever. I would enjoy it, but I wouldn't necessarily enjoy it more than my own freedom and my own downtime, even as a kid, which now I regret, but also now I understand, because I still jump from thing to thing, but it's just different now. I'm a little more disciplined about it. And throughout my entire life, I've enjoyed landscapes. I love landscapes. I love the mountains. I love seeing brand new things. I remember the first time noticing how much I enjoyed the mountains. We were going on a family trip to a place called Ellijay in North Georgia. And I remember nighttime driving through, you couldn't really see the mountains, but I understood that we were somewhere different. I was excited. And the next morning when I woke up, we were staying basically in this mountain retreat. And the house, there's a big like master house with a kitchen and the entertaining area and a few bedrooms, and then there were these little, not outhouses because we know what those are, but cabins with like a bedroom, a bunk room, and a bathroom. And there were 2 of those, and we were staying there, and this place was like nestled into the side of a mountain, and on the back side of the property just went straight up in the mountain, and there was like a spa there, and basically like a hot tub and a sauna and all. It was really, really cool, but it backed all the way up in the mountain, and it just went up. And I remember waking up and exploring the next morning and thinking how amazing it was. And then when you go to the other side of the property, it went down to the street. Across the street was this lovely picturesque pond and this green field, and then mountains on the other side eventually. So we were in this little vale, and I just remember thinking, this is, even as I was little, not even a teenager, and I remember thinking, this is stunning. I love this. And then just you know, I lived close enough to the mountains where almost everywhere I went around town, I could see mountains in the distance, the blue and violet mountains, always in the distance, and always appreciated being able to see that. So I love landscapes. I enjoyed those painting lessons, even though nothing I produced was any good at the time. I enjoyed it. And I did grow up, you know, drawing out scenes and drawing things, nothing special or spectacular, usually usually just guns and cars and sci-fi spaceships. So nothing like what I paint now, but so I've always had that part of me. And I just, going back to that video, I saw that video and I tried it out, and I got the cheapest stuff I could find, cheapest paint, cheapest paint brushes, little chip brushes. They're like $1.50 at $1.50 at a hardware store, or on Amazon. You get a pack of them for like $10, and they come with like 20, 30 packs of these little chip brushes. And I just started, and it wasn't good necessarily. And some of them, I'm gonna tell you right now, some of them still aren't good with oil. I have plenty of duds in there, but I love it. I love painting. I love having something in my head and getting it on canvas. There's something about having something in here and making it come to life in some way, shape, or form, in some medium. I have to imagine that's what filmmakers might experience. I do know, you know, I wrote that book. I'm writing more books, and it's special getting things onto paper, getting things out into the world. There's nothing like it. It's a similar experience whenever I did some construction. Watching a project turn from concept to real life is invigorating, and I just think I'm addicted to that feeling from painting, and addicted to that feeling with writing. I'm addicted to that feeling with even accomplishing things for my regular work. I love a checklist. There's nothing better than making a checklist at the beginning of the week and working your way through it and crossing it off. You're getting things done. And so I say all this to say, paint, draw, write, build something, do something that gives you that astounding feeling of accomplishing and finishing something, even if it's small. And let me say something about my style of painting. Every once in a while I will spend a great deal of time on a painting, but for the most part, if I don't finish it within an hour, it's not worth painting for me, because I just want to get what's in my head on the paper, or I want to get this image that I've taken a picture of, and I want to translate it into something artistic, but it needs to happen in an hour. That's part of my process, because I just want to experience that feeling of, wow, it's done. It's just good for your head, good for your mind. So let me encourage you just to try to do things that maybe you don't think you can do. I promise you, you can. Write, draw, something, paint. Watercolors are great. I'm experimenting with watercolors right now instead of oil paint. Do it all. Do it all. Try some stuff. If you've got a free 15 minutes, write some poetry. If you've got a free 30 minutes, sit down and tell yourself, I'm going to write 500 words of a story, and I'm going to do that every day for a year, and at the end of the year I'm going to have myself a book. And it might not be perfect then, but then you've got a whole nother year to edit it, to make it into something that you think other people might want to read. So thank you for listening. That's why I paint, and that's why I think creativity is incredibly important.